father that searches for their child. He's longing to give us his all. He's looking for those of us that are desperate for him. I don't know about you, but I'm desperate for him tonight.
Yes.
I truly want more of him than anything else in this world. Because when I have him, I have everything that I need.
Yes.
Everything. Yahush is in him. Power is in him. Victory is in him. Success is in him. Everything we need is in him. There is no need for anything else because he'll supply and he will show us how to get our needs met. He will give us innovative ideas. He will show us exactly what we need to do and how we need to do it.
Right.
He'll show us how to bring healing to our bodies. He will show us how to regulate our bodies. I'm a witness. Yes, I am.
Yes.
He will show us what we need to do. He will show us how to bring those things that he's given and hidden in the earth. He'll show us how to find them so that we can bring forth what is needed. Yes, he is a healer.
Mm-hmm.
He said we would lay hands on the sick and they shall recover.
Yes.
He said we would even cast out devils. And I believe all of that with all my heart. But I also believe that the body has an ability to generate itself, to regenerate with the right tools or with the right stuff in it. You can't put any and everything in your body. And so it is important that we understand my desperation. I want him more than anything else in this world.
Yes.
Because I know what he's capable of doing. I know what he's able to do. And that's just a tiny chip off the iceberg. There's so much more that he desires to reveal unto us as people. We are his children. And he will reveal secret things to them he hides. And so we do appreciate him for all that he's doing, all that he's done, and all that he's yet going to do. At this time, we're going to bow before our King. And we're going to say, we're going to seal it with the word, our praise, our prayers, and our worship. Once again, Tuda for singing. I know that was last minute change, but still you did awesome because it's not a rehearsed praise. It is a praise that we give unto our who are unrehearsed.
Yes.
And he is searching for his child, not just a child, but his child, his children. And we are his children. And it is so.
And it is so.
Repeat with me. May the utterance of my mouth and the deliberation of my heart be desirable before you. O Yahuwah, my rock and my redeemer. May the utterance of my mouth and the deliberation of my heart be desirable before you. O Yahuwah, my rock and my redeemer. And it is so. We have just recited to hymn 19 and 14. And it is so. You may be seated in his presence as we turn our attention back to our theme on this Yom, time of celebration and commemoration, a time to commemorate and celebrate a time of rest. And many of us know it is much needed. For many of us work 6 days a week without stop. And if we're not physically working, we're mentally working. And so we are constantly working. And so I appreciate Abba Yahuwah for a paid vacation. What do I mean? Our obedience pays off in the end. It pays off because our obedience is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams.
Right.
It is important that we understand each one of these symbolizes something. And I appreciate him because I'm like the blind man. I was once blind, but now I see. I see the truth and I see what he's given unto us. And so I willingly accept what he has given unto me. And so it is important that we understand his desire, excuse me, for our lives and what he desires to do. And so in this time of rest, not only do we rest, but we also develop through teaching and through learning.
Right.
It's a time that we sit and we relax, not too relax, but we relax enough to where we're able to listen attentively to the instructions of Abba Yahuwah for our lives. Very important that we understand. And while I'm saying this, I want you to turn your attention to Hosea 14, the scroll of Hosea 14, and we're going to start at verse 2, and we're going to read all the way to 10, and then we're going to go to Micah. But earlier today, as we were, my Ish and I, we were conversing, and we just he happened to see something in his news feed, and it was concerning this melanated brother. And he was arrested for assault. But let me show y'all how things work. Just as I was saying last night, everybody that's melanated is not set apart. But when you are fishing, because you really don't know who is who, you're going to put every and anything out there. It's just like a person that casts a net. You know what you're fishing for, but when you cast that net, you really going to catch a bunch of stuff. Because where you are, unless you are just fishing with a hook, line, and a sinker, you're gonna catch. But then you can catch and release. But when you do a major, fishing, and you're doing like the the major corporations sports fishing and commercial. Thank you, commercial fishing. Then what they use are the heavy duty big nets. And so when they fish, they're liable to catch dolphins, they're liable to catch sharks, they're liable to catch anything in those nets because they know what they're fishing for, but because they're not underwater to basically separate, this is what they do. Well, someone might ask, well, what are you saying? What I'm saying is because the world still does not know who we are. Believe that if you want to, and if you don't, that's up to you. But you have to understand something. This is why every melanated person is under attack, because the world does not know who the true people are. We know who we are because we can identify with one another. We know who we are because we know the signs. We know who we are, but they themselves yet don't know who we are because they are still blinded. Here it is, this melanated brother, because remember, we were not the only ones that have melanin in our skin.